Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Basic Black Podcast. Hi, I'm Reggie. Today, I'm actually making this a day early, but it will play tomorrow, February 6th. I had some entirely unscripted thought of having some type of display of a tirade or being angry about the passing of my oldest son a year ago. And there's a lot of factors behind that. I was bothered by the fact that I never knew he was sick. I was bothered by the fact that his other side of his family was so evil that they kept it away from me, just like my ex kept my kids away from me and turned my kids away from me and on me and whatnot. And it was done without good reason. I miss my son. He's been gone a year. Imagine if you are divorced and you get a phone call from a friend saying you need to call the hospital now, for you to only get through to the ICU and find out that he's already passed. Now, I'm going to leave it there because there's more important things to talk about. I just got off the phone with a good friend of mine. And while I'm sitting here wallowing in my sadness and just making the least of a day because feeling bad is starting to take over, a phone call comes in. Matter of fact, it was the reason why the phone call came in because I saw his son was having a birthday. He was turning 13 years old. Amazing young man. I'm really, really proud of him. And I've been following him with his school journeys and sports and different activities and clubs. So I responded and I said, hey, let me send the young man a little birthday money. So reached out to his dad and he sent me a message and gave me the Cash App. And I went ahead and I sent some money, $25. Hey, happy birthday, kid. Here's lunch on me. You know, I do things like that a lot because it's those moments when you lose a child or lose connection to a child that you feel like you have to establish something. And for me, one of the things that kept me going is having the ability to be able to say some encouraging words to a young man, to provide some knowledge and some mentorship. Just whatever is needed, you know, that a young man might not be able to hear or might not be able to do because unfortunately, for whatever reason, there is no male in the household, being a father, uncle, or even just a strong male figure. Like I remember growing up, my dad was there. But there were still other men that were around. So I saw good examples of what a good man could be. So I get a phone call and, you know, I'm expecting to hear like, oh man, hey, thanks. It's, you know, he's going to really like that. It's going to, you know, I'll let him know happy birthday, yada, yada, yada. And to my surprise, I get a phone call from a hospital. Now, keep in mind when this is being recorded on February 5th. So by the time you hear this, it's going to be yesterday. So imagine you're emotionally gathering yourself for the 1-year anniversary of your child's passing. And then ironically, the day before is a young man who I think very highly of, and it's his birthday. So not knowing, I choose to throw out a little love offering to this young man to say, hey, happy birthday. That's a beginning of many milestones in your life. But the biggest thing that affected me was the phone call right after. I was expecting to hear like, hey, Pops, hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate you for looking out and this, that, and other, which did happen. But as I'm talking to him, I hear a beep. I hear some beeping. And being married to a nurse, you start to learn things about medicine and you start to know certain sounds and everything else. And I heard that sound and my first response were, where are you? Now I had a good idea where he was, but for me, it was more like, I need you to confirm, where are you? And he does. He's in the hospital. He's having chest pains. He's going to be there for an extra day for observation. And he's having a hard time. And this being a hard time that I didn't even know he was having. I know this brother was having similar struggles that I experienced a few years previously with going through separation and issues, with custody and children and everything else. But I didn't know that it was so stressful that it put him in the hospital. And I feel bad because he's falling victim to what a lot of men, and today's not going to be about black, white, brown, yellow, green, whatever. It's men who are going through this battle. He's struggling. And when I say struggling, he's a good man. He's a good friend. And to hear him saying that, trying to take care of, make sure his children have everything they need and that they are happy and that there's no difference in their life, has made him fall on hard times. Not an alcoholic, not a drug user, not an abuser, nothing. Just a father at the end of his road and reach. Now, to hear that, to be at the end of your rope for doing the right thing, it hurts me because I understand that. This man is homeless now. His children don't really know because he's doing everything that a father does to make sure his children's world doesn't alter. As fathers, we have so little, if any, concern about ourselves, and we are happily willing to neglect ourselves if needed to make sure our children have everything they need, everything that they want. And this brother is suffering, and he's suffering in silence. I didn't even know this was going on. So when people tell you, you think you have it bad, somebody has it worse, I lived that today. I mean, literally, I just got off the phone with him and I immediately jumped on and wanted to put this out there with is fresh and raw as it is, because it is. It's affecting me. It's affected me to the point to where I'm starting to look at the grief that I had planned for tomorrow and reanalyzing it and thinking, continue to do what's right. Continue to live as good as you can. When somebody's gone, you can mourn them forever and it's not going to change anything. But what can you do with the moments that God has given you? And today and tomorrow, I'm choosing peace and positivity over negative and hurtful. Because it's going to hurt, but it's what you do with that negative energy is what matters. So now my bigger concern is not the fact of where my son is. I know where he's at. I know that he's no longer in pain. I know he's not suffering. I know that if anything about the struggle that I had with trying to get in contact with them, being alienated from them, that he knows the truth. And that right there is a blessing. So, right. So for Reginald, I love you. And Dad is always proud of you. Now I know that you're good. The work continues. So, wow, this is something interesting. I didn't really expect today to go like this. I really was just expecting to wallow in pity and just sit around and go, oh, woe is me. What could I have done differently? What could I have done better? What, just the shoulda, woulda, couldas, the three most powerful negatives that you can base your life on, that you can do absolutely nothing with. Shoulda, woulda, and coulda. So, no. I know now that I have a friend who, his car wasn't running, so he had to walk to work, walk home, walk everywhere. His son could have a school event or a sporting event or whatever, and he would walk there and walk back. And then with home life being, difficult, so he's making all the adjustments that he needs to make sure his kids are good without knowing Dad isn't. And that's deep. That's so deep. So this brother is currently in the hospital. He is without a place, still working 2 jobs, still taking care of everything that he needs to take care of as a man and as a father, all at the cost of now having to give up your place of safety and just a place of relaxation, even from the worst of storms. My heart, my prayers go out to him. I thank God that everything he does works out. And I sincerely hope that that he is able to get the help that he needs to get back on his feet. And he's given me a new insight for today and tomorrow and the days moving on from there. So there are men out here struggling to see their children, struggling to have a relationship with their children. And they are having to not just go through the barriers of the court system. They're having to deal with mothers who, for right or wrong reasons, is hell bent on making it as difficult as possible for the father. Now, I know before anybody thinks of anything, I know that before anybody goes off of me and say, well, there's deadbeat dads and whatnot, there are. But on the same hand, there are fathers who are struggling to see their children. And you have women and men, they do it too, but mostly women weaponizing their kids against their father. And some people without children say, why would they do that? Because it's the last straw of negativity that they have to unleash on you. You've already left. You're now divorced. You move on. You do more, hopefully do better. And the one thing that can emotionally pull you back in and destroy you is your children, because they know that's the one thing that you love more than self. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everybody who's listening. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in the US, if you're in the UK, the Netherlands, or wherever in the world, South Africa, wherever. If you know of somebody who's struggling, if you know of a father who needs a little uplift, a little support, I just please ask that you just reach out. I'm not saying you have to donate money. I'm asking you to donate something that's even more precious. Donate some time. And you'll see that even though you might look good from a physical standpoint or a social media standpoint, that you're good, in all truth, you're not. They'll be fooling you with their face, but inside they're hurting. So I ask, just reach out to somebody, just one person. And if you do reach out to a person, hey, shoot me a comment or whatever, and I would greatly appreciate it. So to my good friend, prayers out to you. I'm going to keep in contact with you. I'm going to be the good that I'm asking others to be today. So with that, this is going to get ready to close out this February 6th of remembrance of my son, Reginald Jackson Jr., a brilliant mind, a licensed pilot, a dreamer, and an aviator. I love you. Julia loves you. And we hope that you just continue to keep your head above the clouds and enjoy the flight. So with that, thank you for your time, everybody. I appreciate you listening to me. If you made it this far, thank goodness. I'm grateful for all that you do. So I'll say this in closing. If you have anything that you would like to say, comments, or whatever, please feel free to reach out to us. The email address is, it's all one word, basicblackpodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's basicblackpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody. Stay blessed. Stay encouraged. Until the next time, thank you for listening to the Basic Black Podcast. I'm Reginald, and I'm out.